Shambho Shiva 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 Narayana 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 Narayana.
If any task is destined to happen through your body, there is no point in forcibly trying to avoid it, thinking, "Let me not do it." God cuffs and gets that work done through you. Holding a task or giving it up is not your wish. Let us take this instance. I don't feel like speaking. I feel like sitting somewhere in silence and passing on the time. I have a 100% feeling to stop teaching, but the teaching is only increasing. I am not speaking wholeheartedly, but the coming circumstances force me to talk. You may feel I am speaking well, but I am talking something or the other. 100%, I am not speaking wholeheartedly. I am speaking for time pass. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said, "O Arjuna, if you are destined to do any task, you cannot escape it. Instead of doing it unwillingly, do it willingly. It is yoga. You are doing some duty either at home or at the workplace. Please don't do it unwillingly, instead, do it willingly and devotedly." Currently, I am working along a different line than Krishna's preaching. I am not speaking willingly, instead, I am speaking mechanically for formality. Lord Krishna is asking us to stop doing the task in hand unwillingly. There should be a liking for the job at hand. As per Lord Krishna, there are two benefits when you work willingly. The old tendencies are lost, and new tendencies don't emerge. All the old debts get cleared, and new debts need not be incurred. On the contrary, when you work unwillingly, the old debts will remain unsettled and new debts will be incurred. So don't do the task at hand unwillingly. Instead, do it willingly. By doing so, you will lose all the past tendencies carried forward from previous births, and new tendencies will not emerge. You will then get a no-tendency state. Then the self inside will be revealed, like a thunderbolt shining in the sky in a rainy season.
Chithi means funeral pyre, and Chinta implies anxiety. Chithi is related to the burial ground, whereas Chinta is associated with the mind. It is said that Chithi is better than Chinta. Chithi burns the dead body within 2 to 3 hours. But it is not so with Chinta. It burns the mind throughout life. So Chithi is better than Chinta. You keep worrying about something or the other. You imagine something or the other within the mind. You only keep crying throughout life. This Chinta burns you throughout your life. The elders are prescribing us to take shelter in a personal God, a Gyani, or a Maha Guru and get rid of this Chinta. You cannot get rid of this Chinta by going to any doctor. As the ailing patients visit a doctor for treatment, people with anxiety in mind come to me. 100% of them may not get cured, but I ensure at least some of them get healed. My residence resembles a hospital not for physical ailments that last 10 to 15 days but for mental illnesses that remain throughout life.
Once, I attended the 60th marriage anniversary ceremony of an old couple. Many pundits and poets also visited that function. One of them composed and read out a poem mentioning the old couple to be as ideal as Sita and Rama. Then someone beside me said, "This couple has not been talking to each other for the last 20 years. How appropriate is it to compare them with Sita and Rama?" Then I replied, "This is the way of the poets. If you don't shut your mouth now, the function will get disrupted."
Once, a professor asked me, "Why are you called Nannagaru?" I replied, "I am aware that there is nothing special about me. That's why everyone refers to me as Nannagaru. If I feel something special about me, how can I become Nannagaru?" The professor then said, "Wonderful."
Buddha was calm in the face, calm in thought, and calm in action. He spoke silently, and he thought silently. He never became subject to emotion. He worked quietly and silently without any advertisement. Recently I have become like this. I put 500 rupees in an envelope. I call the recipient onto the dais and get photographed. By the way, what is the amount that we are donating? It is just 500 rupees. We call the recipient onto the dais and give him the envelope. He receives it. Then we get photographed. It becomes a piece of news in the newspaper. Where is Buddha? And where are we? What is the necessity to secretively put 500 rupees in an envelope? Is this all for the sake of publicity or to transform the recipient? Will the recipient experience happiness when they receive such a kind of money? By receiving such money, will the recipient ever get happiness? Our money should give happiness to the recipient. Again, the photographer is our guru. He keeps instructing. Stand like this or stand like that. He is our guru. He will not take a photograph until we listen to him. Without the photo, our name doesn't appear in the newspaper.
Once, I told a Ramakrishna Mutt Swamiji, it was my lifelong desire to become a monk. But now I don't have the opportunity to accept sannyasa as per tradition. You are fortunate to be a sannyasi. Then the Swamiji replied, Nannagaru, please don't try to delude us. Sannyasa is not related to clothes. True sannyasa is related to the heart. We don't become sannyasis by merely wearing ochre clothes. We wear ochre clothes to abide by tradition, but sannyasa is unrelated to clothes. When the heart becomes empty, even a householder becomes equivalent to a sannyasi.
Recently a lady said, "You are equivalent to God." She was not aware of why she said so, but I was aware. So I did not feel happy about it. The statement, "You are equivalent to God," is not told after understanding me. So I was not disturbed. She said it as a formality and not out of experience. It was merely a flattery. Within 24 hours, she again said, "You still have ego sense." So, the person who praised me as God again told me within 24 hours, "You still have the ego sense." Even then, I was not disturbed. It is because even now, she has not understood me. When she called me God, she didn't know who I was. When she referred to me as having an ego sense, even then, she didn't know who I was. She had a purpose. so she called me as God to get that purpose fulfilled. However, when that purpose was not fulfilled, she referred to me as a person who still had an ego sense. When I can understand her intentions as clearly as I can see my face in a mirror, why would I get any reaction? When the self, the true nature, is within one's experience, nobody will get disturbed by such words. Whether you are referred to as God or as an ego, when you know who you are, you will not be frightened by such comments. Will an ocean expand in the rainy season and shrink in summer? Farm bore wells may get dried, but will an ocean get dried up? When she called me God, I did not get emotional. I did not become anxious when she said I still have an ego sense. Why? It is because she has uttered both the words, God and ego, ignorantly. While referring to such people, Jesus said, "O Father, forgive them and bless them, for they know not what they are speaking."
You have been listening to so many spiritual discourses. There have been so many devotees. One day, I will read out that letter to you all. Recently, while returning from Arunachala, a 25-year-old lady wrote down something on a paper and handed it to me. While traveling from Arunachala to Madras, I read that letter in the car. One day, I will read out that letter to you all. She has written a sentence in that letter. She did not use the words like God or Gyani for me in that letter. She said, "I have been sitting at your feet for the last 4 days. It is said there is a truth in everyone's heart. The truth that exists in everyone's heart is also within my heart. Sitting at your feet for these 4 days made me realize you exist in my heart. I don't feel that you are alien to me." I was surprised at her grasping power. She belongs to Germany. I don't know who she is. She came and sat near me for 4 days. Neither did I speak to that lady, nor did she talk to me. While returning, just before I climbed into the car, she wrote this letter on a piece of paper in English and handed it to me. I will read it out to you all. She did not praise me either as Indra or Chandra or God. She did not refer to me as a Gyani too. She did not speak such words. Instead, she said, "There is some truth in everyone's heart. I understand that the same truth exists within my heart. I realize that it is you who exists within my heart. I have understood this truth for the last 4 days. Why am I narrating this to you all? To tell you all about her grasping power, discrimination, sharp intellect, and subtle intellect."
Shambho Shiva 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 Narayana 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 जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि अरुणाचलेशं सत्यस्वरूपं श्रीरमणदेवं ज्ञानस्वरूपं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि आनन्दकन्दम् अवतारपुरुषं भवरोगवैद्यं प्रत्यक्षदैवं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि भक्तैः सुसाध्यं वेदान्तवेद्यं जगदीशितारं जगदेकगम्यं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि आद्यन्तरहितं भूताधिवासं प्रभुमद्वितीयं परब्रह्मरूपं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि श्रीनान्ना परमात्मा मनसारा पिलिचारा श्रीनान्ना परमात्मा मनसारा पिलिचारा विज्ञानमूर्तिं वैराग्यनिलयं शुद्धातिशुद्धं मोक्षस्वरूपं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि मरणोर्विनाशं करुणासमुद्रं सन्तापहरणं संसारतरणं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि कमनीयगात्रं रमणीयरूपं लोकाभिरामं भक्तानुरागं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि वेदादिविनुतं रागादिरहितं शोकाद्यतीतं शान्तस्वरूपं जिन्नूरुवासं शिरसा नमामि श्रीनान्नदेवं मनसा स्मरामि ॐ शम्भो शिव 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 नारायण नारायण नारायण
I am telling you about this incident which happened nearly 10 years ago, approximately in 1971. At that time, these Sunday meetings did not yet commence. In Triplicane, Chennai, there is a temple called Partha Sarathi Temple. At 6 p.m., I went to the Partha Sarathi temple and saluted the deity, Partha Sarathi. On seeing me, the priest said, "Every Sunday, a discourse on Srimad Bhagavata is held from 6 to 7 in the evening by the Ramakrishna Mission. If you want, you can go and listen. Though I may speak about jnana to a large extent, I also have a tendency related to devotion within my heart. We need not differentiate between jnana and devotion. The one who has spoken about jnana is the same one who has also spoken about bhakti, karma, and yoga. To distinguish between them is our fault. I went to attend the Bhagavata discourse. There were at most 20 people listening to it. I was already a latecomer, so I did not feel like going and sitting in the front row. So I sat in the last row. The Swami who was preaching Bhagavata was looking towards me occasionally. But he did not ask me about my native place. He said, "A yogi has come and sat amidst us." I did not understand whom he was referring to. So I was looking hither-thither. How can I think that he was referring to me? I did not have such a feeling at all. I felt, how can he refer to Rajayama's son as a yogi? Even the people sitting there looked around to see who was being referred to as a yogi. Then he specifically pointed towards me. The Bhagavata discourse got completed. He neither talked to me nor asked about my native place nor the purpose of my visit. He silently gazed into my eyes for 10 minutes. He came and returned in an auto. I felt that his estimate of me was wrong and false. Why did he refer to me alone as a yogi? None of my childhood friends have ever referred to me as a yogi. I then felt he was 100% wrong in estimating me. I felt, how is he referring to me as a yogi? This happened almost 10 years back. Then the Sunday meetings did not yet commence.
A few friends don't learn from me but declare that I have secured jnana from them. Even if they think so, I have nothing to lose. If the rivers stop merging into an ocean, will the ocean incur any loss? No. Will the breadth and depth of the ocean get reduced? No. Ocean is ocean. Knowledge is knowledge. Power is power. Sky is sky. Jnana is jnana.
Once, while roaming around in a garden, I came across a giant old cobra. One further forward step would have placed my foot on the cobra's head. The snake was so near to me. On seeing me, it did not get disturbed. Even I was not disturbed at all. I slowly put back my leg.
A devotee called Rosie belonged to the Tata family. Long back, she got settled in London. Sometimes she used to sit beside me. Even before I spoke something, she used to say, "Wonderful, wonderful." It would have been appropriate if she said, "Wonderful," after I spoke something, and she liked those words. Though I did not talk, she sat beside me and uttered, "Wonderful, wonderful." I was not speaking anything. I was not telling her anything. If I teach her something, she can call it wonderful. But she uttered, "Wonderful, wonderful," when I sat like a dullard. I saw her like this for 2 to 3 days. She came to visit me the day before I started back to India. She changed 2 to 3 trains to reach me. She sat for a while, and just before returning, she started uttering, "Wonderful, wonderful." I thought that she was saying it casually. So I asked her, "What is wonderful?" My sitting near her was not wonderful. But her reply was wonderful. She said wonderful because it was silence with speech. She said, "Silence with speech, no doubt it is silence with speech." Whatever others may say, you can grasp only according to your eligibility and qualification. Grasping is not possible without proper eligibility and qualification. Even if a master teaches something in a class, it can be received only according to one's eligibility and qualification. When there is no proper eligibility, you cannot grasp even the immortal words coming out of their mouths.
Ishwara ensures that we experience the fruit of our actions. He is everyone's scriptwriter. Ishwara has the name, bestower of the fruit of our actions. He gives good results for good actions and dire consequences for bad ones. We, gurus, are not like that. We cut off the body consciousness. Then Ishwara also cannot do anything. How can Ishwara punish when the body consciousness is lost? He cannot punish. Truth and supreme consciousness do not experience the fruit of actions. The one who takes birth only experiences the fruit of actions. If we bring into your experience that you are the birthless one, you need not undergo the fruit of actions. Even God cannot do anything to you when you are gifted with that state. Once you get released from prison, what can the jail authorities do?
Many pundits are writing me letters expressing their opinion regarding the book, Brahman Alone Exists. Their view is that I have written it like Adi Shankara. They intend that I have maintained the standards of Adi Shankara. I don't have the language expertise of Adi Shankara. I asked the West Godavari collector Nannagaru for his opinion regarding the book Brahman Alone Exists. He replied, "This book resembles Brahma Sutras. There are many conflicts within the Upanishads. An Upanishad may describe a particular thing in a specific manner. However, another Upanishad may represent the same thing differently. So, there are differences within the Upanishads. Vyasa has harmonized all these differences in the Brahma Sutras." While praising the book, Brahman Alone Exists, a pundit said, "Nannagaru, you have surpassed Adi Shankara in describing the Brahman." I asked him, "How is it possible? Adi Shankara was a great scholar. How can you compare me with Adi Shankara?" Then the pundit replied, "Whatever you say is true. None can surpass Adi Shankara in scholarship. But in describing Brahman, there is more clarity in the book, Brahman Alone Exists, compared to the book, Vivekachudamani, written by Adi Shankara."
I asked devotees to avoid making curries spicier. They stopped doing it. Instead, they have started using more oil in the curries. They made the curries spicier when I asked them to use less oil. Sometimes the devotees listen to my instructions, but the cook happens to be a different person. The devotee forgets to instruct the cook to use less oil. As a result, initially, I would develop a sore throat and get a fever the next day. While conducting the Kamara meeting, I was suffering from a fever. You people don't understand my troubles. You keep on asking for discourses. How can I request this in every house that I visit? Not to make the curries spicier and use less oil in curries. Whomever I instruct, they don't cook the food. The cook prepares the food as per their habit. Usually, my health is good. But I am becoming sick due to improper food. Suppose there are good cooks amongst you. Is there anyone who thinks, Let me sacrifice Nannagaru's discourse and carefully prepare food for Nannagaru? No. None of you are ready to make this little sacrifice. Nobody is willing to forego my discourse and prepare good food for me. This happens with me, whichever place I visit. In this matter, my weakness is similar to that of Buddha. If anyone invited Buddha for lunch, Buddha used to eat their food, however bad the food may taste, but later he used to suffer. He accepted food from a Dalit in the same way as he accepted food from a Brahmin or a Vaishya. Even if meat was cooked and served, he felt, "How lovingly they are serving me this food," and ate that meat. Buddha's love has no limits. In the last days, a Dalit served half-cooked meat to Buddha. Buddha ate it and developed diarrhea, which eventually led to his death. But his love is wonderful. Even our gods are incomparable to Buddha's compassion. These last words of Buddha have touched my heart. It doesn't matter, even if Buddha ate fish or meat. On the last day, Anand, the stepbrother of Buddha, asked Buddha, "What should we do with your body after its death?" Then Buddha said, "Right now, we are in a village. Will the village remain without a burial ground? Burn this dead body in the same burial ground as the dead bodies of all those who die in this village are burnt. There is no need to have any memorial that symbolizes Buddha's samadhi. But ensure that the person who served me meat, his name isn't revealed to the world. He should not get ill fame. It is because he has not served me meat intentionally. He has served it very lovingly." Such was Buddha's love for humanity.